Yo, what's up? It's Hoppe.
What's happening, Hoppe? How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for calling.
No problem, dude. I'm very happy that you asked me. It's an honor, dude.
Oh, man, no, it's an honor for me, really. I appreciate it. Hey, before we even start, I just want to say congratulations on that award. Was that Creative Loafing?
Yeah, it was Best Local Podcast. That was 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I was very pumped, man. Very cool, this town. They really dig their radio. Because I came from Cleveland. Pretty happy to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to hear you on the radio. I wasn't really familiar with who you were, and I know they kind of bully you a little bit on the Calta show. But how did you get into it to begin with? I mean, how did you get into radio? I know you're very young, you know?
How did I get into radio? Basically, I've just always wanted to do it. Well, I got into radio because I've always wanted to do it since 4th grade. So it was one of those things where I really don't have a backup plan. I was talking to Soul Brother Kevin, and he told me off air that I should have a backup plan. But since I'm so young, I'm just putting all my effort into this. So it's one of those things where I just have such a passion for it. I did a show in Chicago at a local community college. It was absolute trash. I mean, I couldn't get a word out. I tried too hard to be the typical shot jock. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So then I did an overnight show at WNUR 89.3 at a local university. And it got really good. I would book guests. So then I tried out for a radio show in Cleveland last November, and I got called back for a second tryout. So what I did was I drove from Chicago all the way to Cleveland twice, and then they hired me 3 weeks later. So I worked there from January to March, and we went separate ways in the middle of March.
Wow.
So it was looking bleak. I mean, I knew I would work in radio again, but I wasn't sure where to go, so I just began working as a janitor in Cleveland. I had no problem with the job because it was a free membership, and I liked my apartment, but then I saw that there was an opening at 102.5 The Bone, and it was one of those things where I just immediately was intrigued, so I applied for the job, and I had Rob's number prior, and I just said, hey, man, can you put in a reference for me? If it wasn't for Rob, and if it wasn't for Mike Olivero, who hired me, and Mike Kelta, I wouldn't be here right now at the Cox Media Building editing a podcast. I wouldn't be on your show, man. I mean, Tampa Bay is so amazing, and I'm just so honored that everybody has embraced me, and I just cannot thank guys like Mike Kelta, Olivero, and Rob for this. So I'm just happy with where everything's at, man.
Well, I'm happy for you. You know, that's really cool. And, you know, I've been listening to those guys, you know, as long as I can remember. And I've been here about 22 years. I also came from Chicago. And, you know, I've been listening to, you know, Cowhead, Mike Calta, ever since I can remember, since he was on the country station. And I'm not much of a country guy myself, you know. But, you know, we have something in common, Hoppe. We both were pizza guys. You still are a pizza guy, if I'm not mistaken. I think.
Yeah, for right now I am. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I mean, a lot of people kind of talk down on that, but I did it for a decade, over 10 years, and it helped me buy my first house. You know, I'm 40 now, so it's been over a decade since I've done it. But that's a great way to keep yourself afloat while you're pursuing your dreams. You know.
Dude, I never appreciated what they do. I mean, I would always tip a pizza delivery driver. I would always support pizza delivery. We never not tipped them. But, dude, we work our asses off, and you did back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get so angry when the pizza is late because the whole kitchen is so behind because you have 9 orders, but you deliver to them a little bit late, and they don't tip you because you're mad. It's not our fault that we're late, because if it was our fault, the pizza would be cold, you dumbasses. God, I'm so sick of them blaming the drivers. And you shouldn't even blame the kitchen, because when there's so many pizzas, there's only so many hands that can do it. It's like people are so ungrateful.
Yeah, and the oven.
Like, if they're not happy with what we're doing, get off your lazy ass and drive 2 miles to the pizza
and go
shop.
pick it up.
Utterly ridiculous.
It's amazing. I did it in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and you know, there's a really, really nice part of Tarpon Springs, and then there's not, you know, a part that's not so great. And you know, it was a struggle sometimes you would get really good tips. I found that I would get better tips going to the bad parts of town because they understood, what it's like to work for tips. And you go to the richer part of town.
Dude, which bad part of town did you work in, man? I want to go to that one.
Yeah, no, it's that's classified, Hoppe. It's it is what it is, but I understand what you're saying. You got so many kids that are working as cooks or taking the phone orders, and the oven can only push out so many pizzas. And we got really, really busy for a long time, and you just have to deal with it. You have to keep a level head every time you go in there. It is what it is. I waited tables. I was a bartender. Working for tips is, it's a challenge. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I commend you on your efforts for doing it. It's not even, the safest job in the world. I mean, not to mention, the driving part of it, is always dangerous because you have to depend on the other drivers not to kill you while you're doing it. But at the same time, you don't know what you're walking into when you get to their door,
I've never had that yet. I had one a few months ago where they had me go inside the house, and I'm like, okay. And there's like 12 people in the living room, and I'm just like, okay. And they didn't tip me, but I didn't even wait to see if they would tip me. I got the hell out of there, man, because I was scared. And then you have the one when, like, oh, my God, of course it's in kind of a bad neighborhood when the blocks aren't lit whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Nobody there drives with lights on, and none of the houses have the lights on. And you're driving back and forth at like 10 o'clock at night in a bad neighborhood trying to find the address. And you think you found it, but it's not that house. Yeah. So you walk up to the door, and you realize, oh, yeah, this isn't the right house.
Wrong house.
And you have to walk back. And then they come outside, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just delivering a pizza. I swear, wrong house. Like, it's always on a busy night, and it's always in a weird part of town. I'm not complaining about the bad part of town. It's just it always puts you in these weird misadventures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You're lucky. You're a big dude. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm like 5'7" if I'm lucky. Soaking wet, 155 pounds.
I do this really douchey thing, and by no means am I built. I mean, I go to the gym. I'm in average shape. But I do this thing where I kind of like flex my upper body whenever I'm in a bad neighborhood, just because if there's any minimal muscle that they might be intimidated by, I kind of do. And that's when I do, like, when I'm nervous. Like, I'm never a guy, like, when I go to the mall or I'm here at work, I, like, flex, and I'm like, hey, check out my minimal muscle. But when I'm in a weird situation, that's when I'm like, look, guys, I go to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. I was actually on the Cowhead show a few years back. It was actually probably like 9 years ago, for about 10 minutes or so. A guy crashed into the house across the street from me, okay? And I chased him down with one of my neighbors. Actually, 2 people, 3 of us total. Yeah. And, well, it made it to Bay News 9, and I had grabbed my cell phone. It was such a horrific crash. This guy didn't make the curve, and he had stolen a car, and he crashed into the neighbor's garage and into their car. It pushed their car into the bathroom, and pipes broke. Water was spraying everywhere, and this guy kicked his way out of the window and took off, in a not really a sprint, but like a fast walk. He was kind of hurt, and he was older. And, as we're corralling him, I had my phone camera on the whole time. And he basically, one of the neighbors said, let's just take him down. And I said, well, I don't want to take him down because if he's hurt, we might get blamed for his injuries. Let's just keep him in front of us until the cops get here. We were already on the phone with the cops anyway. Well, to make this another short story, we basically ended up in a parking lot with the police, guns drawn. They didn't know who was who. We all put our hands up. Well, Spanish called me, because I don't know how they got the video, if I emailed it to them or if Bay News 9, if they saw it on the news. I was on like the first thing in the morning, and it was hilarious. The amount of exposure that show has. It was so powerful even, almost a decade ago. My phone blew up for days. I was getting calls from Tallahassee, from friends in Chicago, from all over the place saying that they heard me on the show, that they saw me on the news, blah, blah, blah. And it was just totally crazy, So, but, going back to the flexing your muscles thing, on the video, when I was holding that cell phone camera, I mentioned something. I had a couple of beers in me. I was sitting on the couch watching baseball, and when I was chasing this guy down, I said, I work out, and I puffed my chest out. You try anything, I'll break your neck, So, Yeah, it was pretty funny. That was kind of like the whole bit, don't mess with Kevin Hawley. Don't speed down his street. He works out. He'll break your neck, that kind of thing. But, I agree with you. I go to the gym too, and I'm a little guy, and I don't puff my chest out ever. But in a situation where you think it might, help you out, definitely, man, you should. What are you, 6'5"? You're tall as hell, man.
Yeah, I'm 6'8". Well, I got that going for me, which is good because I'm so tall that it kind of hides my love handles. Like, I have very slight love handles. Like, compared to most people at the gym, I'm in decent shape, but you'll see those guys that are ripped, or if you go to the beach, and you're just so jealous. But then you go to, like, any average place, like a Winn-Dixie's or the mall, and you see fat people, and you're glad you're not them. So it's one of those things where, dude, I could be in so much better shape if I didn't eat Mickey D's twice a week, but I lift to compensate. You know what I mean?
Sure. What about the pizza? Do you take home pizza all the time? I did.
Oh, God, dude. I'm getting a little sick of the pizza, but sometimes they'll mess up a Philly Deluxe. Or they had a calzone there the other day. Oh, my God. It was like an orgasm in my mouth, dude. I've never had a calzone, dude. It's phenomenal. The burgers, the wings, man,
That's cool.
I just have no discipline. Like, I always want to have junk food. Like, it's insane. If I didn't work out and I wasn't tall, I think I'd be fat, dude, because I used to be 295, man, and losing weight is one of the greatest things. Wouldn't you agree? Because I can't imagine being fat.
I skipped the gym for about 3 months. I'm about ready to go back now, and I went down. I lost 10 pounds, and it's not because I got a beer gut. You know what I mean? I just shrank. I lost some muscle mass just from not bulking up.
I hate that, dude. I hate when you don't, like, work out for a bit, and then you wear a shirt that's sort of tight or something, or that would show that you're in good shape, and you're like, crap, my arms are smaller. So then you have to rework everything. It's like, it's sort of like we get into this, like, comfort zone, and then we just, like, lose it, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah, one day you look in the mirror, or, with the shirt, I do that with my arms. I look at my arms, and I'm like, geez, man, and I got full sleeve tattoos, and that doesn't help. You know what I mean? My arms get skinny. They look skinny, So you know what I did? I went and bought a couple of 20-pound dumbbells from Walmart, and I'll take some protein in the morning, not every day because I'm not going to the gym. I don't want to get fat, but, I'll sling those dumbbells around for 15 minutes, even though they're only 20-pounders, just to, get it. And you can see it come back, like, immediately, within a day. So I can't wait to get back in there. That's a work in progress.
Do you ever take any roids or creatine? Because I'm the douche that takes creatine. Just because I'm not doing this to get athletic. I'm not doing this to get coordinated. I just want to look good.
Sure.
So, yes, I do take creatine.
I've taken creatine. I took protein that had creatine in it. One of the best ones I took was from GNC. It was like, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it was in like a black bag, and it was supposed to keep you shredded, and it really worked. I got a great 6-pack out of it, and, you get that muscle memory. It's still there. I just have to, get a little bit of cardio going. I think that's really important. But, yeah, I've done that, man. I'm a douche, too. I've taken plenty of different kinds of creatine, protein, testosterone boosters and things like that, but I've never touched the roids or anything like that. I'm too little, man. If I took roids, I'd look stupid. I'd probably go bald, too. I'm getting too old for that stuff, man. I think
I would look goofy if I was on roids. I think it would literally make me officially look like Sloth if I would have gone roids or Rocky Dennis. My face would have get all fucking, like, scrunched up. And, I don't think roids would be the best for me.
No. Well, I want to ask you. I got a couple of questions I wrote down just on a whim, real quick. I didn't know how quick you'd want to talk to me, but that was really cool. By the way, thanks for getting with me so quick. How do you get your interviews? I mean, you've had a whole bunch, like 30-something interviews and 200-some episodes, something like that, right?
Yeah. So what I do is basically, I look like a bitch at times when I beg guys, but I literally begged Opie and Anthony to add me back online just because I want them to see my tweets. Like, I grind so hard to get noticed. Like, guess what? The reason Kelsa found out about me was because I said, hey, could I get a follow back? It's probably the 10th time I ever tweeted at him. I'm so relentless about getting people to come on my show. Like, I messaged a big-time comedian last week about coming on Hoppe Hour, and I looked for his personal Facebook. He got back to me. So now I'm trying to coordinate that. So basically, to me, it's like I was honored when you asked me to come on, and I'm this F-list person here at the building, guys like Drew and everybody on air, they're all A-list, and I'm on the lowest part of the pole.